right. So, picking up from where we left off, I was asking you about how important relationships are, and you were
Yeah.
telling us that we're created to be interdependent,
Yes.
and that you're not more than three people away from anything or anyone that you want in life. That's powerful. That's
Yes.
powerful.
Truth is, a lot of
So,
people, we were, like I was saying the other time, that, we're built for relationship, and relationship will cost us if we don't master it. Unfortunately, too many people, especially in Christianity, we pray for breakthrough, but when the success shows up in the form that we are not expecting, we are not able to appropriate and maximize it, because we have not learned the basic skills of connecting with people. And that's why a lot of people lose out in what is in it. I mean, what they could have benefited from in humanity. So someone is praying to God for a breakthrough, and God activates a Muslim or God activates a Buddhist who doesn't believe what he believes. Now, he cannot say answered prayers, because in his worldview, he thinks that God is going to activate a Christian. Now, if you see every human being as man made in God's image, and you understand that God is the God of all flesh, there is nothing too hard for him to do, that you will
yes.
believe in your heart that God will create the whole world, and he cannot activate anybody, irrespective of their religious belief, to come in your direction, is one of the blind spots that we have in Christianity that has prevented a lot of Christianity from getting the best out of relationships. So when answered prayers shows up in the form of a man who doesn't believe what you believe, because we have not learned how to connect at the level first of humanity before religious belief, a lot of people miss out. So the default mode I always say to people these days, if you begin to pray and you reduce yourself to love, to say, I will see everyone as man made in God's image, at that level, you will learn to activate the four basic principles or ethos of relationship, which is number one, you must learn to accept people irrespective of the worldview where they're coming from. You don't have to, accept their worldview, but you need to accept their person. So acceptance is one.
Yeah.
Number two is respect. Because whatever you respect, you attract. If you don't respect me, you can't attract me. The problem we have is a lot of people claim they have respect, don't have respect. They are respecters of men. There's a difference. If you have respect, it wouldn't matter whether the person is young, whether the person is old, the person is rich, the person is poor. You are going to accord them the same level of treatment. But respecters of men, when they see someone driving a big Jeep, they suddenly do rank kadede. But when the person is driving a bicycle, they look down on the person. That is being respecters of men. If you have, absolutely. If you have respect in your life, see, magic will happen, doors will open, breakthroughs will happen, miracles will happen. Answered prayers shows up in the form of a man who doesn't believe what you believe, because we have not learned how to connect.
You don't know where next you are going to meet.
Absolutely.
Said, if you had met me before I made everything, and you had shaken hands with me, you would have been shaking hands with everything, and you would not have known it. That was the way I learned that face value is false value.
Yeah, you're very correct.
What appears. So you must learn to honor all men. You must have a bandwidth that can accommodate all types of people, because you can use anybody at any time in your life. Fantastic. Fantastic. So I was going to ask, how do you identify a viable relationship from a toxic one? Share a perspective, like a perspective.
Okay, a valuable relationship. So there are different lines that exist in the relationship value chain, and you need to understand them. For example, in the workplace, there are 8 lines, right? In any organization at all, there are about 8 lines, right? And then the 8 lines are your upline, which is the relationship with the people that you look up to, right? Those are like mentors, authority figures. Now, there are principles that can help you navigate those relationships. So, for example, if you are dealing with someone who is above you, there is an acronym that we call PRAISE, which is P is, praise them, right? R is readily respond respectfully to their intention, right? A is acknowledge their input and their impact, even if you feel there is nothing, right? I is interview them, because when you interview them, you will understand why they do what they do and how they do what they do. Then S is solve their problem with speed and with smile. And E is exceed their expectation. Now, if you are a downline in any place of work, or if you have a mentor, you have a leader over your life, if you deploy this, you will win consistently, because you need to understand that your upline is the field that is capable of producing for you, is your link to the palace. What you need for them is for them to be able to recommend you. Now, if you don't understand the rules of engagement, right, and you now begin to talk to them about them anyhow. So, for example, if someone comes to tell you, to ask you and say, oh, you know what, we know that you are the one doing the work, or God does not know anything. Now, the Bible says something that is very silent. It said, do not cause a king in the corner of your bedroom, because the bird over here can pick it. Now, what is actually saying to you is that, yeah, you cannot be arrested for what you are thinking, but you can be prosecuted for what you have said. So you need to be very careful what you say about the uplines in your life. Now, you now have the downlines. The downlines are the people now looking up to you, because to whom much is given, much is also expected. Value must flow all around. Now, the ones looking up to you, those ones, you need to mentor them, right? So, which means you need to open your door with wisdom. You need to find a way to also lift them up. The question you are asking there is this: if your downlines, if you don't have to pay them a dime, will they work for you for the next 2 years if you can't pay them? Now, while they will pay, while with your upline, you're asking, can my boss sleep well with me in charge of affairs? But for your downlines, can they work with you? Can they stand with you if there is nothing you are giving them? Right now, why they will stand with you is about the value you are giving to them. So a lot of us trample on our downlines because we look down on them. You must not rule them out. You must not look down on them, because there is also value in them. As a matter of fact, that's why people now say that there is no success without succession, right? So a lot of people, I say to people, if you're an upline and you're down, you are the only one who can do what you can do, then you are a failure. That's one of the fundamental principles Dr. Miles taught me when I started getting close to him and I started following him. To say that, and he will say it this way. He will say, praise for everything you want to everything you know. He said, put it on a slide presentation and teach the people who are with you. And I asked him why. He said, because if you go for a training one day and you can't continue, there must be someone in your team that can continue the training and finish it. From that moment, every presentation in my life is always in slide presentation, and there are 2-3 people in my team who are looking up to me who know it. Now, so that is downline. Then you have peer line. Peer line are the people at your level. You need to team up with those ones, right? They may not be like you, they may not look like you, but you need them to succeed. The question you need to ask at the level of team is, if promotion is going to be based by voting, will your teammates vote for you? You need to answer that question. And why will they vote for you? Now, the person they will vote for is the person who remembers their birthday, is the person who can walk slowly and spot when they are in pain, the person who stands with them. That's the person they're going to vote for, which is why you cannot carry the whole problem, your own problem, on your head alone and not observe what's going on in the life of other people. Now, so those are 3 lines. Number 4 line is what we call in the workplace, we call that the real line. The real line. The real line is your relationship with the customers, right? Those are the people coming into your life. You don't know them. They're able to transact business with them. Some of them will come, and there are 4 levels of customers. You have the intimidating customer, who will almost be as if he wants to control you. You need to understand that you need him. Everywhere he goes, he tries to intimidate everybody. But you have the creative customer. That's the one who is nice. He's talking about his family. He can bore you. He can exaggerate. But you have the dependable customer. The dependable customer is a friend. He's relational, but he's reserved. But you have the systematic customer who is always asking the question, why? He cannot, you need to be able to identify them, because even the way they walk in, you can pick them. And you need to understand that when the intimidating person comes into your life, right, you cannot argue with them because you won't win the argument. What you can, however, do is to be competent around them, because competence is what they are looking for. When the creative guy comes into your life, he needs a friend, right? So you can't say, he talks too much, he talks too much. No, you can't say that. You just need to give them your listening ears. When the dependable guy comes, he wants trust. He wants to be trusted, and he wants you to trust him as well, right? So you need to understand. But when the systematic person comes, he wants perfectionism. So when you are talking to him, you need to be reeling out data. This was how it was done. This was how it was done. If you don't give data, they don't believe you. So they look like they doubt you. It's because they needed to be sure. Now, then you now have what we call the landline. The landline is where a lot of people in Nigeria fail in relationships. When you get into an organization, every organization is a territory. Now, there's what we call the territorial principle, which says in your own territory, you are the king. But when you get into someone else's territory, you are not king, you are subject. You now need to check the rules of engagement in that territory. You know that when I talk to corporate people and I ask them, have you read the organizational policy? A lot of them have not read it. In fact, I was training an organization, about 270 staff, and I asked all of them to write down their company vision on a sheet of paper, word for word. Only 5 people could write it word for word, yet they all work in the organization. I had to conclude, and I said to the chairman, you don't have a vision here because your people don't even know why they work here. Right? So you need to understand.
Let me cut to that. So the people are just in traffic. They are not in convoy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And those are very dangerous to be in to bring into your cycle. You know, and that's why they're going to steal. That's why they're going to run steps down. They're going to kill. They're going to mess up your entire business. Right? So you need to understand that the landline is the policy of your organization, and you need to do everything to ensure that it's upheld. You need to even know it. You don't try to change it. You need to support. You need to implement it and carry it out totally. Then you have what we now call the X line, which is what looks like the competitors. Competitors are not your enemies. Competitors are complements. They are there to prevent complacency. Without them, you won't innovate. Without them, you won't improve. With left to yourself on your own, you will self-implode. But your competitors keep you on your toes. So you need to ask yourself, if you check a football match, without the defenders, how do you know a striker is good? The defenders are trying to prevent him from scoring the goal. Your ability to dribble them is proof that of your competence. That's why you are giving World Footballer of the Year. It's based on the number of people you're able to dribble and the number of goals you're able to score. Now, the next line, which is the 7th line, is in line. In line is your relationship with yourself. A lot of people don't have a relationship with themselves. So they are trying to blend themselves when they have not worked on themselves. And that's why they break down. And that's why everything goes against them. You rebuke them, they get upset. You make them, they are upset. They can't get value to themselves. So you need to understand that you need to have a relationship with yourself. So if you have a relationship with yourself in a way that you know yourself more than the average person, your ability to dribble them is proof that of your competence. That's why you are giving World Footballer of the Year. It's based on the number of people you're able to dribble and the number of goals you're able to score. Now, the next line, which is the 7th line, is in line. In line is your relationship with yourself. A lot of people don't have a relationship with themselves. So they are trying to blend themselves when they have not worked on themselves. And that's why they break down. And that's why everything goes against them. You rebuke them, they get upset. You make them, they are upset. I mean, they can't withstand pressure because they've not added value to themselves. So you need to understand that you need to have a relationship with yourself. Example, if you have had a relationship with yourself in a way that you know yourself more than the average person out there, if someone calls you a fool, it will not get to you. I was working with a woman who said, our husband was depressed. And I said, why are you depressed? Our husband was calling her useless. And I said, why are you upset? She said, because he was insulting her, washing down her esteem. So I asked her to write the word useless. She wrote it down. I told her there are words in there. What are they? She said use plus less. I said, can you flip it? It became less use. I said, what do you mean of less use? He said, well, when somebody cannot maximize you. So I said, you are assuming the husband is insulting you. Meanwhile, it's announcing that it lacks the capacity to maximize you. You understand? Because the meaning she was reading to it, by the real meaning is that the guy is announcing that I'm in trouble. I can't maximize the use of you, right? So we need to understand that. So you need to relate with yourself in a way that you are no longer driven by what people are saying about you, talking you down, and you are getting moody. You should know yourself more than every person. The last line is the outline. Relationship with God. I always tell people that the organization or whoever you work with is first of all idea in the mind of, right? So we need to understand that. So you need to relate with yourself in a way that you are no longer driven by what people are saying about you. They are talking you down and you are getting moody. You should know yourself, right? So we need to understand that. So you need to relate with yourself in a way that you are no longer driven by what people are saying about you. They are talking you down and you are getting moody. You should know yourself. Mentoring is, there's nothing called everlasting mentoring. I don't even believe in it. There must be an entry and there must be an exit. Because without that clearly defined, it becomes everlasting mentoring. Then you won't know. I mean, it always doesn't end well. So if I always ask people, what exactly do you want to get from me? I need to know. And once I know what you want to get, some of them I'll just say, oh, you need 3 months. Some of them you just need 6 months. Some of them is 1 year. And once that time is over, we sit down and review and release you to your destiny. But there are people who are meant to be with you. It's a long-term relationship. And sometimes maybe they experience burnout or they have expectations expectations not being met, or they don't even understand you, right? And so they begin to behave in funny ways that contradicts what you approve of. You need to sit with them and find out what exactly is going on. These are the things I have noticed. I mean, I have a staff who told me once, I mean, she just began to behave one way, right? I had to sit with her to say, what is the problem, right? Said she doesn't feel fulfilled anymore here. Oh, I said, okay, do you want to leave? Then she's unsure. Okay, what is the issue? By the time she began to reel it out, I was able to provide the solution, and she's been one of the most fantastic people in our workforce, right? So some people, they are just going through a trying moment, and every human being goes through that trying moment where you're no longer sure that God even sent me to be doing what I'm doing. So what exactly is the issue? Now, those ones need redirection. But there are some who has outlived their usefulness, and you will know the moment you can't point to the value they are adding, then it's time to let go. Or when they have mastered what they have been sent to learn, or when they have learned what they claim they were coming to learn from you, we can't become emotionally attached that we now keep them, because when you keep them, you are putting your system at risk. It's to take them to their destiny. I mean, consistently we release people in our organization, you know, because some people just join and they don't even know exactly what they want to be doing with their life. But after 6 years, they just realize that they found a field, and people have started inviting them and just say, okay, it's time to go and set up, you know, and we just do that, and they can still come back to facilitate for us. You know, we do that regularly, right? But the easiest way is when people are coming into your life, if it's mentoring, you need to define the entry and the exit, the duration of the mentorship. So you must create a system and a program around your life that produce the outcome they are looking for. In the absence of that, I don't do assumed relationship, because assumed relationship is very dangerous. It has to be clearly defined. Are you going to be with me? How long are you going to be with me for? Because everywhere I have worked, the day they hire me, the day I also write my resignation letter. And I will state exactly how many years I'm going to work there, 5 things I would have achieved in the years, because I don't have the rest of, I can't waste my life, right? So I work in, but a lot of people, they just want to hang around you, they like you, you know, those are time wasters. They are not adding any value. There is no point keeping those kind of people around you. Please get something that can keep them busy and let them get out of your life.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask, in the context of an emotional relationship, are you with me, Pastor Praise?
Yes, I can hear you.
In the context of an emotional relationship, how can you tell a predator from a true prospect?
It's about values that they can add. There are lots of people, as a matter of fact, I'm a stickler for friendship before emotional relationship, because friendship is the crucible in which long-lasting relationship is built. The biggest problem in many marriages is lack of friendship, right? Because they have no shared history. There is nothing to talk about, because at the level of friendship, you don't pretend with your friend. If the person is just a friend and you are drinking Gary now with kuli, if the person knocks on the door, you don't hide it and say, I just finished eating chicken. No, it's your friend. If you are wearing slippers, there's nothing to hide. You present yourself on the face value of who you are with your friend. But if person has never been a friend, people begin to now hide their true self, you know, because they don't want their mistake to be spotted, right? So I always say, test people through friendship before you migrate or you move to the next level. Now, when it comes to a predator, there are so many smooth operators, and there are guys we call canopy brothers in church, right? They are not going to propose. They are not going to allow people who are going to propose. They're just going to be handing around the lady consistently. I always say to people, define your relationship. Excuse me, what are you doing around me? Right? So if it's just friendship, then you have no right to be calling me to say, are you not missing me? Am I not missing you? No, that is not within the syllabus of friendship, right? You know, so you need to be clear. Value is how you test. What value is this person into your life? And respect. Does this person respect what is valuable to you? In fact, what I people is this. The Bible says that do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. I know a lot of churches have their definition of unbeliever. Some people will say it's a Muslim, but you see, I love to keep things very simple. What in unbeliever is an English word. What does it mean? An unbeliever is someone who doesn't believe what you believe. It's that simple, right? So the moment you are saying someone you don't believe in premarital sex, he's saying let us begin to kiss. That's an unbeliever to you. He may find a believer like him who believes in those things or somewhere else, but it's a non-believer to you. There is no point being emotional or sentimental about your life. You don't believe, you believe everyone should make money. He doesn't believe, she doesn't believe everyone should make money. That's an unbeliever to you. You can't even be dealing, right? But values adding. I see ladies sometimes, so I love the guy, he has this bad behavior, I don't want to live. I now ask, what value does he have to you? Right? Has he bought you any book? Has he taken you to any seminar? Has he added any value to what is most important to you? Your business is the most important to you. And what value is he adding to the? Is he buying you? Is he giving you network? No contact? No, he said no. So if he's not adding value, what are we doing together? Relationship must be values based. The moment value is not in view, then there is no basis for any relationship, especially when it comes to emotional relationship. And a lot of people get into, I tell them, in truth, a life partner is the most important hiring you may likely do. And if you check HR companies, when you want to hire for one role, they take them to is to cut down the number, to say some people are not even qualified for this next level. Then they go to stage 2. After stage 2, stage 1 of interview, by the final stage of interview, the final 5 is brought before the final panel. After the final panel, go to the final 5. If they still don't find the most suitable person, they don't settle for the person that is close. They start the process again. It's the same way with choosing a life partner. You don't settle for the nearest, right man. No, you start the process again and spread your wings. But value is how you measure. What value is this person having? And our values in alignment and our beliefs in alignment. Once it's not in alignment, there's no reason to do.
Fantastic. Pastor Praise. All right, I don't know how many more minutes we even have left. We're enjoying this so much. Why do marriages fail?
Why do marriages fail? You want us to do a vigil, Neil? There are so many reasons, and I'll tell you what data is showing. What data is showing is, so what is marriage? Marriage is the coming together of a man and a woman from 2 different nations to create a new nation that will promote the best interest of all and whose culture will give our world rest. From that definition, marriage is to create a new nation. So it's nation building, clearly. But the 2 people involved are from 2 different nations. They are from the nations that produce them, 2 families that produce them. They have become ambassadors of their family. Now, at the point of premarital, so many things are not handled. I'll give you an example. 9 out of 10 couples cannot answer the question. This is clear survey data in Nigeria. 9 out of 10 cannot answer the question, why did we marry? If you ask that question, you will hear funny answers that cannot sustain that relationship. So you hear things like, marry, always wanted someone to take care of the home, and I found her. Then that person never needed the wife, he needed the housekeeper.
Yeah.
When asked Hillary Clinton, why did you not leave Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, when he cheated on you? You know what she said? She said, when we were courting, we both knew that we were going to stand for elected position at different times. So when adultery came, the purpose for getting married was too high that the sting of adultery could not touch it. So I always ask people, if the reward for staying married after 40 years is that Japan will be given to you, what will you do differently? A lot of people are divorced, say, I will not have divorced, maybe I would have waited for 40 years. Right? It's because the purpose is not strong enough, and once purpose is not strong enough, divorce becomes an easy option, an easy exit route. That's one. Two, an average family, an average couple have not articulated a uniform vision for their family. Both of them mean well, but they have different visions. So division becomes their hallmark. Number three, beliefs alignment. So there are beliefs you pick from your family that produced you, and that's why before I do any marital assessment at all, I run a proper psychometry analysis, and psychometry never lies. It will show the real problem. So a lot of people don't believe the same thing, yet they are married. So for example, if you ask a man, they say, and ask him a simple question like, who is superior between a man and a woman? And the man says, man is superior. Then you ask the lady, and the lady says, none of us is superior. Those are two unbelievers getting married. But that question has never been discussed. The way the guy will be treating the lady is, you are an afterthought, you are an addendum, you are not my mate, no matter what it is, right? But the lady will be thinking, but I'm supposed to be your mate, we are supposed to be equal or something like that. It's not going to see it that way. So the men who believe, meanwhile, there are ladies who actually believe that men are superior to women. Those ladies who believe that men are superior to women should marry the men who believe that men are superior to women. That is called compatibility, right? There's another question there that says, it is the duty of the man to provide for the family. Some men will say, no, it is not the duty of the man alone. It must be joint. Right? So those who believe joint should marry themselves. But once beliefs misalignment has happened, communication cannot be effective. So a lot of people, what I found out, what is troubling their marriage has nothing to do with them. It's everything about the nation that produced them. So when people come into marriage, they need to ask question, what kind of nation do we want to build? And what will it cost us to build this nation? Then are there pains in our life that we have not dealt with that can sabotage our own future? That one, they may need to get a therapist, a pastor, a coach, someone to work with them on it. Now, once these basics have been handled, the final thing you will now look at is building a family systems. Africa is not high on systems building. We are personality and emotion driven. Now, if your nation, if your family is a new nation, then you cannot afford for your existing nation to sabotage your new nation, because they will attempt to sabotage your new nation. Your mother will interfere in your wife's matter, your mother will try to interfere. So what I say is this: every nation must protect their territorial integrity. So there's a system we call family immigration system, to say you do not give permanent residency to people's character you have not tested by visiting visa, right? So someone wants to come and live with you, you first need to check them out. Let them come and spend 2 days, check the way they talk, check the way they behave, and now say, okay, this person aligns with the values that we want to promote in our family. If it doesn't align, you can't be emotional about it, right? Because there are people you have now brought in who have now become domestic terrorists. Though a domestic terrorist is defined as anyone who you have brought into your house who is now creating problem for you or your wife. And you do not negotiate with terrorists. You need to find a way to deport terrorists or take them back to where they are coming from. Because Africa will love to interfere, and people who interfere are the ones who eventually separate the best of friends, because they begin to whisper. So you need to protect your family against all odds. Once you develop a proper family system, you will create your family economic system, which governs how money flows and what money you do with money. You will create your domestic management system, which governs orderliness in your family. You will create your family governance system, which governs your family vision, your family rule, your family values, and your family constitution. You will create your family security system, which governs immigration within your family. You will create your family literacy system, which governs the way every member of your family thinks. You will create your family relaxation system, which governs how you rest. Then you will create your family healthcare system, which determines whether it's preventive medicine you want to practice, or you want to practice elder living or whatever. You know, so those systems must be put. Is a lot of work, right? So when you understand this work, I mean, when people dance to the altar during marriage, I sit somewhere and I'm wondering, do they understand what they are dancing into? Have they, do they understand the systems they need to build to sustain their marriage, right? But above all, something has failed, which we need to pay attention to. Home training has failed in Africa because the marriage is only as good as the two people involved. In the days gone by, our parents would just pick somebody from one family, marry somebody from family, and they marry. Well, why did it work? Every family prioritized home training. They would teach how to greet, how to talk to people. So it was easy. But now home training has broken down. So we are now having dysfunctional people who people think are mature because they have a degree, they have a car, they were able to get a job, but they were emotionally bankrupt already. They become dysfunctional. By the time they get into marriage, they are going, no matter how hard they try, they are going to be dysfunctional and they will wreck the marriage. And a lot of them actually need a lot of help.
Absolutely, absolutely. So physiological development and even financial adequacy do not equate marital competence. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll just sum it up like this: that marriages fail because people who go into it with high expectations, but poor preparation.
True,
high
sir.
Expectations, but very poor preparation.
And
they focus on a day. They don't focus on the journey, on the life beyond just the wedding day itself. Fantastic, fantastic. So, what's your counsel for very mature singles?
Well, everyone wants to get married. But in my work with mature singles, I realized that a lot of them, they don't want to get married to a man. They want to get married to a tribe, a race. That the people they want to get married to don't want to marry them. I was working with a lady who was 42 and wasn't married. So I asked her why she wasn't married. She said because all the men that she's dating, or all the men who wants to date her, are saying that she's too proud. And I said, why are they saying that you are too proud? She said because she's bought a house and she drives a very good car. She's an ED in an oil and gas firm. And I said to them, I said, see, my thumb is very simple. Any man that cannot stand your greatness is not worthy of you. Now, so I asked her to show me her CV instinctively. And by the time I checked the CV, she was a senior manager in a bank at the age of 27, 28, thereabout. And she moved from the bank to the oil and gas firm. By her training, she's taking courses in Harvard, Yale, Stanford, and Cambridge. Now, by that training, unknown to her, even though she lives in Nigeria, she's no longer a third world lady. She has transited to become a first world thinker. Yet she's looking for third world men to marry her. What are the thought process of a third world man? A third world man is thinking of a woman who will be in kitchen and be cooking. A woman who will stay at home, who cannot make more money than her. Right? So those are the thinking. Meanwhile, there are some other men in other nations.
Fantastic. Fantastic. What are some practical ways to create boundaries in relationships?
Okay, there are 3 levels of relationships that you need to understand at that level. And it's such a very, very interesting topic because, I mean, it was a principle I was teaching at the beginning of the year. You have people in this is one of the fundamental mistakes that people make. You have the outer court, I need a charger. You have the outer court, you have the inner court, and you have the holies of holies. Now, each of them comes with its boundaries, right? The problem with people is they don't know the differences in these quadrants. It's actually 3 quadrants, right? So what they do is they bring people that should be in their outer court to their inner court when they have not tested them, right? Because outer court people are people who are just coming into your life. You don't really know them. You are meeting them for the first time. They have not been tested. You don't even know their capacity to handle the reality about you. Yet you are telling them your secrets. Yet you are telling them your project you want to do. They don't have the capacity. They are not even worthy of that level of discussion, right? But a lot of people don't understand this, so they bring their outer court into inner court discussion. Now, if you understand, for those, because many of us are Christians, so your outer court people, they are acquaintances. They like something about you, but they are not the totality of you. They haven't proven that because they are just potential energy. Some of them are hurting and they are sharing pains and woe. They need help and closure, else they depend on you. Now, you need to ask yourself, how did they show up on your radar? What is their track record? Because you cannot commit your life into someone that you don't understand their track record. The Bible says Jesus could not commit himself
to man, because
right. So who do you know that can attest to their character? Who have they fallen out with before, and how did they at all? They don't even believe he's a woman who needs to be cooking for the family and all those kind of things. So I asked her, I said, have you thought of getting married to an American, a Canadian, a Japanese? She said to me, "Zed praise. Every time we go for seminars abroad, I see them, they even try to befriend me or that." Said, but my mother said it must be someone from my village. I said, exactly, that's the problem. All the men in your village cannot stand the current you, because the current you is no longer the kind of woman who can be cooking and be, because you travel all around the world. So I said, why don't you try to date someone, who doesn't have those kind of funny beliefs? Guess what? She called me about respond when you fell with them, right? And then after when I fell out, I fought them on social media. I put them out. That person cannot come into your holies of holies, because if you fall out, they are going to fight you dirty. But now have your inner court. Your inner court are people who have shown minimal commitment by solving a problem for you. They have shown a bit of stability in handling stress. They exhibit positive energy and they have shown consistency. They take feedback well and are loyal to your cause. Even though they can sometimes switch allegiance, they have something that keeps them busy. They are not idle. They are willing to support you with networks and connection. However, even your inner court, you still need to speak to them in parables and test their response to your parable to know if they will probe further, right? You can't judge them on the basis of their innocent errors, because sometimes they make innocent errors, right? But if they can't defend you behind your back, then they don't even belong to your inner court. You can pass them back to outer court, right? If they can't risk a certain amount on you, they can't be in your inner court. So, for example, you run into Christ and say, "Oh, can you give me 500,000 there?" And you are sure they can give you, or they are asking you, can I loan 500,000? And they are returning it. If they can't return it and they are dodging you, then they don't belong to inner court. But you now have your holies of holies. In holies of holies, two things is brotherhood and fraternity. They are like blood. They are covenanted to be with you, and you can trust them with your life because you are too sure they'll be there for you and with you. They are more or less your blood, right? They are the ones who can ask deep questions, and they know the truth about you. With them, there's absolute nakedness, right? The rule here is that if they can't take bullets for you, they don't belong here, right? You need to test their sense of judgment. Now, problem is people don't understand these boundaries. So someone just shows up, they bring the person into their holies of holies, and the person begins to create crisis because there are things you see in the holies of holies that you must not tell outside, right? Yeah. And you need to qualify people for the gift of your holies of holies. You don't just bring people there and begin to tell them things. No. So because a lot of us in our bid, we get carried away. People come into our life and we don't check them to say, who is this person? You don't even know how to assess. That's why I go for seminars, for example, and people come and meet me, like 200 people. And they say, "Oh, Mr. Praise, you know, we need to see you. We need to see you." No problem. I don't have a problem. I'll give you my number. I'll say, call me, because I'm making a demand. Because never, you need to qualify people for the investment of your energy. Because there are people we call energy vampires. They are going to suck you dry. They are going to waste your time, right? So you need to qualify them. So I give them my number and I say, you know what? Before you call me, send me a mail. The moment I say send me a mail, the number will reduce to 10. 100. Then the moment the 10 now send a mail, I now say to them, okay, you want to see me? Can you go get this book and read a chapter before you see me? Then call me back that you have finished reading the chapter. It will reduce to 2. I'm not lying to you. This has been my experience. Those 2 are the ones who need to see me. Imagine if I didn't pre-qualify them, I now say everybody come. They will wear you down. They will just mess you up. They will, and you will see from experience that many of the people who receive things for free and the ones who don't value it, they are the ones who waste your time. In fact, Pastor Gbemini, you are a pastor. I advise pastors never to sit in counseling with members on what they have, a series they have taught in church, in tape or in CD. Let them go and first listen to that CD. If the CD cannot solve their problem, then let them come and sit with you, because they are going to suck you dry, that you will begin to experience a burnout. So it's important to qualify people for the investment of your energy. And once you know how to pre-qualify people, trust me, you will preserve your own energy. And you will know, is this person in my own of holies, is he in my outer court, and is he in my inner court? However, the balance is there are people that you meet them once, it is God sending them to you. Those ones, God will tell you, this is a covenant brother. Some of them, they may not pass through those quadrants. You can bring them straight because it was God, but you need to be sure it is God. That's just the other exception to the rule within that side.
Where the Bible says, henceforth know we no man after the flesh. And God by the Spirit can reveal someone to you and say, this is the reason why this person has come into your life for such a time as this. So just like what you said now, putting it in another balance, never trust the innocent. You can only trust the tested. Never trust the innocent. You can only trust the tested.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you may confuse an informant for a confidant. Fantastic, fantastic. So, Pastor Praise, I want us to talk about something. Every relationship is meant for a reason, and some are meant for a season. You hear me?
Yes, you are very low, but I can hear you.
Okay. Every relationship is meant for a reason, and some are meant for a season. How do you differentiate between a relationship that has outlived its nail from the one just going through a challenging period or challenging season?
That's a very, very important question. I always am an advocate for people defining their relationships every quarter. If you can't do it quarterly, at least try and review your relationship with people annually. I audit the numbers on my phone once a year, because not everyone in your past belongs to your future. In our bid to carry people from our past into our future, they become a burden, like Lot that Abraham began to create crisis for them. Now, 4 months after, and she said she's in a relationship, and I said, what happened? She said apparently she's had a friend in the US who is a Nigerian born, or in Nigerian by his parentals, whatever, but he's never been to Nigeria, was born in the US, right? And now they are happily married. So some of our matured singles, right? Of course, there are some of them, maybe they wasted time, but I always tell people, not everyone can be married, but everyone must be purposeful. You need to ask yourself what purpose you want. Then I have also noticed that some of them now begin to have one attitude. In fact, I don't like the concept of matured single. You are either single or you are married. Because once you say matured single, this is what happens. They will no longer attend singles meeting. They will now be attending matured singles. Unfortunately, matured singles hardly marry themselves, right? So they will begin to look down on the singles. Meanwhile, the singles may not marry you, but they can link you to the person that can marry you, right? So I always say, step down your attitude, right? If you really want to get married, every man is looking for the most valuable player. Just make yourself valuable, make yourself indispensable. If you're a man, be value adding. Somehow there's someone somewhere on this planet who wants to marry you. Spread your tentacles beyond your culture, beyond your village, beyond your tribe, and ask yourself, who am I? Who have I become? Am I still a third world person? Have I become a fourth? If you're a first world person, start looking for Japanese. Start looking for people who become your friend. Maybe your husband is there. Your husband may not be in this neighborhood that you belong to, right? So that is very, very key. But sometimes I feel for them, and I think we need to be worried about them and find out how do they survive, how do they handle their emotional issues. But I also said to them, you see, you cannot afford to lose on both ends. Since you can't marry yourself, then become purposeful, because if you are single, then you must be valuable. I taught a message one time, the foolishness of virginity, that it's not just to say I'm a virgin. What has your virginity produced is more important, because we had 5 foolish virgins and some virgins were wise. So it's about what am I doing. If you are single, it means nobody is stopping you, nobody is so pour your life into purpose. You can build a conglomerate, you can achieve anything, you can attend any meeting, of the world, right? But many people that I see, their esteem is low. So we need to help them to channel their energy in the direction of purpose, innovate for our world. Somehow in the line of duty, your spouse might pop up.
Thank you. How about single parents desiring to settle down?
Well, a single parent, there is no concept called single parent. Single parent is the label we have chosen to give people who have a child either out of wedlock or whose husbands have left them or something like that. What every human being wants to marry is a man or a woman. Now, if a man now, because the problem a lot of single parents, especially single mothers, the problem they had is because they had a child out of wedlock, they now begin to qualify their life by the child. Truth is, if God doesn't want that child to come, the child won't have come. There are people who are, and a lot of men now begin to look down on them and say she's after one. And the question I ask is this: if the man who is looking down on them is battling with masturbation, if every of your masturbation falls on a lady's egg, how many children would you have had? Because it was your masturbation did not fertilize the egg, is why you are still calling yourself single. If every release of semen that you are produced can produce a child, some of those men who are looking down on single mothers that produce 200 children by the virtue of their masturbation. So why is an imperfect person expecting perfect behavior from a fellow imperfect person? What will matter? A child is a gift from God. Yes, we need to deal with that side. But what do you want to marry? Do you want to marry a person, or do you want to marry someone? You want to qualify someone by an error of judgment or by something that happened in their past? I said to single ladies, wear yourself with. In fact, we should congratulate you. You are not a coward. That you are a single mother or a single father means that you are authentic. Because you could have aborted the pregnancy, but you chose not to. You stood by it where others went to terminate. You did not terminate. So we should celebrate your authenticity, your originality, and applaud you, right? Because you have demonstrated responsibility, capacity, and the ability that you care, and you can stand by your errors, and you do not make excuse for it. So she already has the potential you are looking for in any wife or any husband. Now, anybody who now wants to deal, if you deal from that perspective, you will no longer say she has a child or she doesn't have a child. You know, all those things will not matter. The person involved is what will matter. And if that person is value adding, you have nothing to worry about.
Fantastic. For relationships where there is domestic violence, what's your advice, especially now in these days of this lockdown?
So I always say, step down your attitude, right? If you really want to get married, every man is looking for the most valuable player. Just make yourself valuable, make yourself indispensable. If you're a man, be value adding. Somehow there's someone somewhere on this planet who wants to marry you. Spread your tentacles beyond your culture, beyond your village, beyond your tribe, and ask yourself, who am I? Who have I become? Am I still a third world person? Have I become a first world? If you're a first world person, start looking for Japanese. Start looking for people in first world to become your friend. Maybe your husband is there. Your husband may not be in this neighborhood that you belong. Well, you need to call. If in Lagos, for example, I sit on the team.